Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi. Hello, love. My name is Jennifer Laurel Keller, and this is Open Studio, my show where I help you gain more creative confidence and live a more artistic life. I'm an artist and instructor living in Sacramento, California. Together at my studio and on creative field trips, we'll explore inspiration, art supplies, techniques, and business secrets so that you can bring more joy and success into your creative practice.
That's it. That's where we got married, right there. Cypress Grove.
Today I want to talk about bringing more purpose to your art practice for those of us who are not political artists. Recently, my husband and I went to Mendocino, the lovely small town on the coast of Northern California. I've been visiting there my whole life, and we got married there. So it's a place that holds a lot of meaning for me. So I'd like to start with a story about how this is relevant to finding purpose and helping the greater good with your art. Once upon a time, there was a print artist named Emmylou Packard. She was an assistant to Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera and would travel between Mexico and the United States. In the mid-20th century, there were many artists being drawn to Mendocino to give up the city life in exchange for a more natural and artistic way of life. In 1959, she moved to Mendocino and fell in love with the natural beauty of the area. And she said, "I saw this marvelous headland and the beach and the quaint little town, and I knew it would be ruined sooner or later by commercial development. I felt it had to be saved." So she began to go door to door gathering signatures to preserve the land. With her petition, as well as with her artwork on the promotional material showing off the beauty of the area, she got the attention of California state policymakers, which led to a land transfer deal that preserved the Mendocino Headlands as a state park. So by combining grassroots efforts along with the power of art, she made a lasting change in this area, which has given everyone there a gift that has lasted well past her lifetime. And I just love that. So in the spirit of Emmylou Packard, I'd like to expand on this idea of finding more purpose and affecting change with art. Also, you'll see in this video that I painted some of the scenery from my trip to Mendocino, and I will tell you a little bit about that at the end. I think many artists want to find deeper meaning in their art, but might feel shy about it because they're afraid of having their art seem too political. And of course, political art is a completely valid art form. There are political cartoonists and illustrators who address injustice and corruption in a literal way. So if that's your style of art, more power to you. I'm not telling you that you have to do it my way. So in this video, I'm going to talk about this from my own personal point of view. In my artwork, I've made a conscious decision to primarily paint natural subjects. I haven't talked about this quite in this way before, so this video is just as much a tool for me to speak up as it is to offer a little food for thought to you. I rarely ever paint cityscapes or human-made objects, and for the most part, I keep it to animals, botanicals, and landscapes. I believe humans are basically screwing up the planet, and therefore I like to paint what I would like to see protected from humans. Art is a way of really tuning in to what our core values are, and everyone is going to have a different set of values where they're able to help the most. We can't take on every single battle, but we can take on issues that we have the tools to address. So don't get me wrong, I care about many issues outside of environmental protection, but this is what I'm concentrating on right now because it's what I'm most able to address in my work. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not discounting other causes. I just want to be clear. I find that by focusing on the outcome that I'd like to see, in this case, the respect and preservation of the natural world, my art continues to be attractive to an audience that might like to hang my work in their home and appreciate it for its aesthetics. And I do avoid depicting the ugly underbelly of these issues in a more blatant way, For instance, I won't be painting a landscape with a forest that's been clear cut, but I can talk about that on the side. Painting the scary or unpleasant scenes from our planet's problems can repel an audience who might otherwise share my values, but they don't necessarily want to be reminded of these problems every day when they look at a piece of art in their home. Also, while I'm painting, I don't want to focus on pain and destruction. It's not that I don't care, it's just that I don't want to channel that energy while working on a painting. So now I'd like to share some ideas that you can use to bring more purpose to your art without branding yourself as a political artist, if that's what you want. Of course, your art is your own, and I encourage you to do what you want. That's the beauty of being an artist. And hopefully all types of artists can get something from these tips. It's your prerogative which of these points you can use and which you can leave alone. Okay, number 1 is include imagery that's beautiful even if your purpose is upsetting. If you're upset about the polar ice caps melting, try painting a beautiful glacier or portraits of polar bears versus painting a starving polar bear barely able to sit on a melting iceberg. Do you see the difference? By switching your focus to the positive, people can appreciate your purpose and find your imagery attractive. Number 2 is write about the underlying purpose of your art in your product copy, website, social media, and other written materials. Explain why you choose the subjects that you choose and why you're passionate about them. The more you can tell your story and your why, the more people will resonate with your message. So for example, if you paint tropical botanicals, which are pretty popular right now, you can also direct people's attention to how we're losing biodiversity in the rainforest due to deforestation. And now you've created a backstory to your beautiful botanical art and created a purpose of education. And also remember that facts tell and stories sell. So even from a business standpoint, people will be more interested in stories rather than numbers and figures. So keep that in mind. Kind of like with my Emmylou Packard story. Okay, number 3, help with fundraising efforts for nonprofits. Promise a portion of your proceeds to a nonprofit group who's fighting for the mission that you're passionate about. Let's say you paint portraits of women and you care about helping women who suffer from domestic abuse. Consider sharing your profits from your art sales with a local women's shelter or an organization that helps women with education and financial wellness so they can have more confidence and power in their lives. Now you're doing more than educating, you're helping the cause financially while using your skills as an artist. And number 4 is partner with a nonprofit for a mutually beneficial business arrangement. This step goes beyond just fundraising and donating money to a nonprofit, but instead reaching out to a nonprofit and working out a win-win deal. This would be an event or product where you both split the profits. You could do an illustration for a poster. You can do a pop-up sale at a fair or an event. You could have an art auction. So again, an example is if you paint pet portraits, you can fundraise with an animal shelter. You could set up at an adoption event and offer to do commissions and paint pet portraits for new owners. Just make sure the amount you promise to donate won't hurt your bottom line, because artists need to advocate for getting paid as well as helping the greater good. The big thing to remember is that your art is being shared with the nonprofit's audience and you're able to gain fans and meet more people interested in buying your art and helping a good cause at the same time. So everyone wins. And number 5, remember that you can change the world just by creating art. Art connects with the emotions of others, and you never know how your art can affect someone who's facing a hard time. So keep up the good work. Even if you're not in a position to help your favorite cause financially, you're still in a position to help people emotionally, and that is really valuable. So I created these 2 paintings after returning from my trip. I will have them up on my website and will be donating 25% of their sales to the Mendocino Land Trust, which is a county-wide program that is continuing to protect the natural beauty of the area. And I'll link them up from each painting's product page in the shop on my website. You can have a lovely painting of this beautiful area to bring more joy into your space, as well as help to continue the legacy of Emmylou Packard to protect California's natural and coastal spaces. Okay, so that's my input into doing more good for the world as an artist. You can get really creative with this, so if you have any ideas about what you could do as an artist to help out your community or the planet, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're looking for help to become a better artist and do more good this way, I have a color mixing class that you'll be sure to enjoy, and I'll share more information about that right now. Much love. Art is magic. It reveals to us the emotions and beauty in our surroundings and within our souls. It can inspire and relax us, make us laugh and cry, and is worth 1,000 words. Every artist wants to capture the essence of the scenes in our work, but when it comes to color mixing in your art, it might seem like something's missing. Maybe you seem to be running into muddy colors, or perhaps your paintings seem to lack dimension and end up feeling flat. Or possibly you're not quite sure how to start or which paints to buy. The paint aisle at the art store is a big place, and there are so many choices which can be a little intimidating. If this sounds familiar, it's likely that you need more information and practice with color theory and mixing. And the good news is that I can help. My name is Jennifer Laurel Keller. I've worked in the arts for over 20 years as a painter, teacher, a frame designer, and I've also worked in art supply sales and art galleries. What I've noticed from talking with artists, as well as in my own career, is that things can get out of control pretty quickly when you don't know how to get the right colors. Some people think that they need to buy all of the colors because they're afraid to mix at all, and other artists try and save money, but the colors aren't very compatible and they end up wasting paint in the end. I had to learn and work on my practice to be able to mix the right colors, and I've seen countless students be able to do the same thing even when they thought they couldn't do it in the beginning. In my online class, Color Quest, I share all of my secrets to color mixing. You'll learn how to pick the right paints from the art store, save money on paint that you can mix yourself, mix vibrant colors that you can use in all genres of work, from abstract to landscapes and portraits, bring amazing light and shadow into your work, create beauty that will connect more with your audience and possibly lead to sales if that's what you want. And your painting sessions will be so much more fun because you'll be mixing colors that make more sense and that you'll be proud of. So stop guessing about color mixing and end the frustration. All you need is 4 tubes of paint, 1 brush, a palette, and some watercolor paper. The rest of the materials you probably already own. In this class, you'll get video lessons where we create studies covering the color wheel, complementary colors, analogous colors, earth tones, tinting, shading, the grayscale, hues, and how to pick your own unique palette for what you want to achieve. In the end, we make some abstract art to loosen up and play with everything you've learned. Anyone can take this class. You'll be able to follow along just like if you were right there with me, looking over my shoulder as I talk you through every decision and move I make. Plus, as a bonus, you'll get access to the Keller Collective Facebook group, where you can stay engaged and get feedback. I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk at all. So come with me on a color quest, and I promise you breakthrough after breakthrough will get you on the course for mixing color and light with more joy and ease. I'll see you there. Oh my God, I'm being buzzed by a bumblebee. I'll be like, don't come here. It's awful. Nobody come to Mendocino. It's totally hyped up.
So overrated.
It's so overrated. Lots of people. I think you can park on the other side of that gray car. Oh, maybe not. The truck, but
Here, right?
That's
yeah.
the spot. Oh. It's recording.
Fart.